Hi there. Welcome back to Returning to Basics. We're out in the garden, in the in-ground garden, planting some fall crops. So come along and let's see what all we can get done today. This first row is going to be beets. Neal and his mother love pickled beets. So beets have to be buried, seeds have to be buried an inch underground. I'm sorry, half an inch underground. So we're chewing up the ground a little bit. This has all had tarp over it and spoiled hay. And so we're just raking the hay back, and the grass has been killed out, so we're ready to get it going. I am planting this pretty thick. We like beet greens in our salads, so we will be able to thin these as they grow and then let the other ones get bigger for us to harvest the beets. This end is really dry. We'll have to watch this segment and make sure it stays warm and wet enough. This area down here was in perfect condition. I've already planted beets that are multicolored, and then some dark red Burpee seed beets, and this is another dark red Early Wonder tall top. So we'll see. We didn't have any luck with the raised beds this spring because I just didn't get them in time. So I'm hoping that this will give us some good winter greens until frost and give us some good beets for pickling. We'll really have to soak this area now. This area just is so dry, we'll really have to soak it. This is the area of garden we had a real problem with moles. And then voles went through the mole runs and ate all of our potatoes. But we seem to have all the moles taken care of now, and we found no mole runs under the tarps at all. Here are some of the other seeds that we'll be planting. Some purple top globe turnip greens. So I'm going to try this. This was on sale, easy. I don't know, they may do better than anything else, but it's a spinach with a coating on them for good germination. And then here are some chippy seeds. And then I found another package of this dinosaur kale. I'm not sure how it'll taste. The leaves look thick like cabbage, so we'll see. I was talking to his mom about these, and I said, I don't know if they'll be good eating or not. She said, you never know, it might be the best thing you ever put in your mouth, so we're going to give it a try. It looks really neat. So that's my little experiment out here in this garden. So, time for turnips. Loosening up the soil. This works really good if the soil isn't just really bad, and it hasn't been. It's had hay over it, but that just gives it a little more depth for the roots of the seeds.
And what are you going to put in those spots?
I think I'm going to try the dinosaur kale in these little spots. It won't be long, and the tomato plants, which didn't get enough nitrogen this year, my fault. They don't like cold at all, so it won't be long and they'll be dying back. And we'll have dinosaur kale coming in between these cages. Tiny little seeds for turnips. And it says to plant them 1/2 inch deep. So let's get with it. Have a nice breeze today.
We do. It is nice.
But it's supposed to get warm again.
And I know this is late for fall garden, but Arkansas is historically warm, seasonably warm, even till late October sometimes. So I think we'll have plenty of time to get these up and get them started before we have frost that will start killing other things. You notice how she's covering things up with her hands instead of a garden rake. We've found it better success by covering with our hands, and with a garden rake we tend to cover too deep with a garden rake. We have good soil to seed contact this way, but not too much coverage, and it pops right out very quickly. Just a few days and we have germination, and we have the presence of seeds, of plants coming up.
Right. We also need to give them an update on the raised bed because that has all come up.
It has.
But we had a problem. Squirrels love having nice fresh dirt to dig in and plant acorns in out of our big oak tree. So we've had to cover the top with hardware cloth, which actually has been a little hard to find due to COVID-19 and shipping and all that. But we've had to cover it to keep them from digging it all up.
Yes, a few oak trees are dropping acorns. You probably heard one just a moment ago across the street over there.
Hitting that metal roof.
Hitting that metal roof on our neighbor's storage building. And the one right behind me is probably 200 years old, and it's almost 15 feet around in circumference, and it drops acorns. It's a red oak. It drops acorns almost every year, as opposed to the white oaks that tend to drop every other year, if I'm correct. This one drops some acorns every year, and it's dropping acorns this year. They're all over our tarps here. So that row is what, Teresa?
Purple top, white globe turnips.
Purple top turnips. I wish I had some seed bulk to take up and overseed on my food plot. Can't find it though.
All right.
Okay.
One row of beets, one row of turnips.
And then we'll have spinach and kale.
Well, I'm going to do the dinosaur kale. Since we have so much planted over there, I'm doing the dinosaur kale out here in spots. And then I really think we ought to do another row of turnips.
Okay.
We can eat the greens off of the beets and the turnips as long as they'll last in the winter. I just do better if I'm ARC. And I have a better idea of doing the right depth for the seeds by doing this way. Covering with tarps really worked well. We were having a big crop of grass out here. We're actually on a slight hill, so everything that's growing in the neighbor's yard will wash here. So the tarps really killed it all back. And we will probably utilize that again, like early spring, maybe 3 weeks prior to time to actually start planting out here again. We may cover with tarps again, just to make sure everything's killed out before we start doing anything in the ground, because we really don't want to till. We're trying to not till. We're trying to cover with hay and mulch and not get into tilling. When you till, you raise up seeds, weed seeds and stuff that are down in the soil and expose them, and then they really take off.
We do use a hand cultivator though, that we've had for many years, and it just agitates the soil right here no more than about 3/4 of an inch to about an inch. And it does a good job and prepares us a nice little seed bed. But as Teresa said, it's not like using our Troy-built tiller, which has set over on the other side of the yard for years now. We haven't used it in a number of years because we've learned that no-till and low-till does better.
I also still have my pots down the side of the greenhouse, and of course I've planted in all of them. I think I missed one.
Your containers?
My little containers down, my pots. But we do have a friend that gave us a bunch of mineral lick buckets that they use on their farm for their cattle, and I have those all cleaned up. We haven't filled any and planted any yet. We're still gauging and deciding what kind of mixture we're going to put in them, how much leaf mulch, how much compost. And this fall, whenever his mother lives in the middle of the forest, so this fall, when the lawn man comes and starts working on leaf removal to get it away from the house for fire safety, we will have another big major pile. Our compost pile is not aged enough for us to use yet. We just really got it going this year. And we hope to add another bin or two as well. But
and if you want to see how to make a compost bin system, we have a video on that, and I'll link that below in the description.
it's not hard. Water, you don't want them soaking wet, but you want to keep them moist. That makes the microbes grow in there to break things down. It keeps it moist enough for worms to work up. In fact, it wouldn't even hurt to go to Walmart to the sporting goods section and buy a cup of worms to put down in there after it really starts to break down good, and let them work in your compost beds as well. I know when we start doing anything in the yard, we run across a worm, I pick it up and take it and put it in a raised bed.
And you notice our tarps, that's what we used, Teresa mentioned earlier, to kill back the growth of grass and weeds. Works really well. They're inexpensive and they beat putting out chemicals. I'm not anti-chemical, it's just
we use pretty much none. If we have an ant issue, we'll use diatomaceous earth. I've actually had more ant issues trying to get into the aquaponics tank with the fish than I have out here. But we're very careful about what we put on it and try to be as organic as absolutely possible. We don't know it all, that's for sure.
Well,
we're still learning.
We know there's a difference between natural and organic on labels.
Yeah.
But natural to us means organic. Basically, natural to us means the least amount of chemicals, just as free and as possible, free of chemicals. And we do use fertilizers, chemical fertilizers, but we do use a lot of compost and we use a lot of manure.
We intend to gravitate more to that, but when you do a soil test and you realize that you're really low on something, in order to keep things growing, then you've got to treat right away, but with something. But we're trying to incorporate enough compost, leaf mulch,
Hay.
hay in order to compensate for the minerals and all that as it decomposes and it enriches the soil. We're trying to go that way and stay away from chemicals. Okay, found some more seed. This is actually 2019 seed. It's spinach. I buy up at the end of the season. I buy up as much seed as I can, and I put it in Ziploc bags, burp it so that I get as much air out as possible, label the bag of the year, and then I put it in a tub that seals good. And I have had wonderful germination for seeds 4 years old. And I stored the tub in a cool spot. And I've done great with this. So don't be afraid to try. And this year, with everything that was going on, I bought up as much seed as I could get my hands on. So we should be good for a number of years. But we're going to go ahead and plant the rest of the spinach row. This is another variety called Giant Noble, and it was one of the little seed packets that I got at a box store that had a section on cheap seeds. I'm actually surprised this one has quite a few seeds in it. A lot of them this one was 20 cents. A lot of them that are this small or this cheap tend to have fewer seeds in them, but this one did good. So, all right, this new variety is an organic, and the difference, if you don't know, the difference between natural and organic is drastic. According to what I've read, organic is certified organic. Natural actually means very little. So thanks for coming along with us. Thanks for coming to Returning to Basics, trying to get back to more organic ways and taking care of ourselves, good nutritious food that we know where it comes from and how it's been raised. If you like our channel, please press the like button, subscribe, that would really help us. Hit the bell and you'll find out whenever we get something new out on for you to see. And we will be doing lots of things probably here coming up, getting ready for fall, lots of different things in the fall to get ready for winter, and also to plan for next spring. Now's the time to make your plans for spring, what you want to do, where you want to put things. I really have to think about the grade of the land. This is uphill. Think water, in a heavy rain, water comes through pretty quick. How much sun, as I said, we're dealing with this tree. Where do things get good sun? How much sun do the plants you want to plant need? Some don't need as much as others. So soil amendments, getting the soil modified. As he said, we will be putting this hay out later in the winter to cover the around the plants and to keep weeds down, but also for it to decay and to enrich the soil. We'll also be doing some soil testing to see why the grapes dropped everything, or the muscadines, forgive me, why they dropped everything this year. So there's a lot of planning that goes into gardening, but it's so much fun and it is so rewarding when you see a crop and you're eating your crop, or you're pickling, or you're fermenting, or you're canning. It's so rewarding. I would encourage everyone, and you can start small. And we're still learning, so you never get to the point where you can't learn about gardening. It's always something new to try, something new to learn. So come along with us and learn with us. If you have any suggestions, please put them in the comments section. We benefit from your knowledge as well. So if you have questions list them there, or if you have suggestions, list them there as well. We would really appreciate your input. Thanks a lot for coming with us to Returning to Basics. God bless you. Plant a fall garden, even if it's in a pot. Thanks. Bye.